need multiple people ganking from multiple angles.
And even that is not always enough. I mean, we saw, remember when Origin ran this, they were able to get out of like four-man dives and Fnatic is a team that is definitely on that level. I can't wait to see how this unfolds. I'm getting excited when he gets to take a Rumble as well. So we'll see if the Rumble in any of the lanes, how it does go, how they decide to start this game off as the coaches will. Shake hands, walk off the stage there. So tough task ahead for these Wolves, but for Fnatic, will they be en route to 12 in a row, continuing the record setting? Why don't you tell us what you think if Fnatic will take that 12th win? Tweet at LOL Esports with the hashtag FNC win or CW win as we get ready to load up onto the Rift. This is going to be a very explosive matchup.
Yeah, and Lenny on Shen. What a daunting task. You come into the LCS, you face a lane swap, you get behind really far in that lane swap, you lose. It's okay, try again. But you lane against Huni. Not what you want.
Well, he wants to try to find the victory here. It might be a taunting task. So far, he's going to go for a very defensive start. It makes sense on Shen, of course, everyone. We've been seeing them all do it. The not often mentioned, but often utilized Doran's shield. Of course, Huni's doing the same thing, too. So if they do take standard lanes here, as it looks like they might, fanning out in the line of scrimmage, we could be in for at least the first 10 or 20 minutes or so. A bit slow up in the top lane, but that's been fairly par for the course.
Now, Febiven, he's putting a lot of respect on that taunt from Lenny. You see the stats on your screen right now. You saw just how hard Fnatic destroyed the Wolves last time. However, that game was relatively even. Let's not forget, when they went in standard lanes, Freeze was about 20-30 CS up against his counterpart Rek'Sai. But then everything changed when Huni teleported. He was playing that Lulu, teleported to the mid lane, got 4 assists in that exchange, and then Young Buck's teleport was 6 seconds late. This was usually a symptom from the Copenhagen Wolves. Their teleports were very uncoordinated, very often too late. But I just want to touch on that cleanse real quickly from Febiven as Freeze takes down that ward. I'll allow one shear for solo kill on the ward.
Right.
Okay, back to the cleanse now, finally. The only cleansable ability in this exchange for Copenhagen Wolves is the taunt from Lenny. So Febiven is respecting that so much that he devotes an entire summoner spell to it because you can't cleanse Viality and you can't cleanse knockups or knockbacks.
So he's definitely trying to make sure Lenny doesn't make any shenanigan plays on him. Febiven very conscious of how much threat he represents in the form of this Viktor. However, if he does get focused, that means Rek'Sai will have a lot more time to get himself in a happy situation. Of course, he should win that lane anyways to begin with, as we will have a 2v2 lane. And the 1v1 up in the top lane. The question then becomes, where do these junglers decide to focus their attention? We know Reignover is fantastic at shadowing Huni and getting him ahead early on this Rumble. Be a dangerous thing for the Wolves to contend with.
And both teams starting at camp, heading to a lane slightly earlier on Fnatic's side. Double range with Kalista advantage. That means you want to let that lane get pushed in as quick as you can. So as an Alistar, you want to avoid ever healing your own creeps, because it slows down the pushing power. And as Fnatic, you only want to trade in synchronized trades. You want to hit both targets at the same time, because otherwise you draw creep aggro, and the trade is not worth the speed you use to push up the lane, if that makes sense somewhat. And Huni, he gets level 2 first, and
he does. And Lenny is finding out what it is like to lane against the Huni. Remember, he hadn't been allowed this Rumble for quite a while. Teams focused so heavily on shutting him down, and that was one of the key bans here. The Wolves let it through, even though they did focus their attention on him, and they're remembering why people started banning it in the first place.
Yeah. Huni's Rumble has been banned 8 times so far in the split. They are 11-0 right now. That's 8 out of 11. That's a lot of bans.
Oh,
Freeze dodges the landing right there. And now Shook, he has to make this gank work.
He does, going in. Vault Breaker on Lenny is buying some time, but Huni will immediately flash away. Do they have the damage left in the tank? Vorpal Blades flying. Huni's got the scrap shield on. It's going to fade away. And he lives.
Little communication error right there. If you see what happened is Lenny initiated a taunt. Shook was charging up his Vault Breaker, but he knew if he took one more step and then released the Vault Breaker, Huni would flash over it. So what Shook did was good. He flashed in, connected the Vault Breaker before the taunt duration ran off. However, this lost him an offensive gap closer that he could have waited using to chase Huni afterwards with the red buff. So I feel if Lenny taunted just a fraction of a second later, that would have been first one on Huni. So it's very, very minute and it's very, very subtle, these changes, but you have to do it properly, because if you give Huni half a second to survive, he will run out of there.
Staying alive once again. Finds himself a little bit pushed back, but he's more than happy to take Lenny on in a 1v1. Hasn't really needed too much help from Reignover, but let's take a look down bottom where we're seeing on camera right now. The big difference between these two, Rek'Sai is CS. 11 advantage over Freeze. That early level 2 helped so much, and in a winning matchup, it's just insult to injury.
Yeah, they definitely just want to push that in, get that level 2 first, zone them off the wave, and then threaten them on their tower. Don't allow them to CS. Freeze usually is a good CSer on their tower, but losing Unlimited with Kaas, the synergy might not be there.
Yeah, it's tough to test a new team against the likes of Rek'Sai and YellowStar. Two guys that have had quite a lot of synergy, quite a lot of history in the past. We'll have to see how that one keeps on going.
Reignover heading top. He wants to help out Huni now. Huni no flash.
No flash
Getting
this time.
Even CS'd. Lenny, he's low. Can he interrupt the dash?
Seeker's there. There will be the dash on to Reignover. Taunts him for just a second, so he will make his escape. Almost had flash back up.
Yeah, and that was taunt flash by Lenny.
Rather.
Because he knew if he just taunts just immediately, the auto knockup from Reignover will knock him out of the taunt, so he had to get to the other side somehow and survive. Good play by both parties, but we're looking at a potential dive here. Huni takes a tower shot. That might be enough to thwart the dive.
Yeah, I think that will be. Reignover was looking in his sights for something there, but he wasn't able to get in and find anything safe with Shook hanging about. Bot lane continues to just be 2v2 on its own right now. The CS lead is still pretty hefty in favor of Rek'Sai.
Yeah, Fnatic bounced the wave to try and freeze it and deny some CS of the Copenhagen Wolves. They said, no, thank you. I'm going to keep pushing and poke you out. And that's obviously the hardest task. If you let the wave bounce backwards, then you're not only fighting the Copenhagen Wolves enemy lineup, you're fighting their creeps with it. Freeze took that trade. Now YellowStar looks to go in. Oh, Spellshield is down. This could be brutal.
Boy, there goes the Ren. Suis Kaas gets caught up. YellowStar, however, gets knocked up. There won't be anything else to save it but that. Fnatic continuing to just lane it out. Perfectly happy with this situation with the late game scaling they do have in the form of Febiven right there.
Yeah, this is an instance where YellowStar could have flashed forward and flayed, but he values the safety of his own defensive summoner more than getting a kill. Controlled aggression, because Fnatic, they know that if they go even or slightly ahead or slightly behind or even a lot of goal behind, they will still end up winning the game.
Yeah, they're going to be okay. For the Wolves, though, I mean, it puts them in a situation where they have to act, they have to make plays. But you've got a timer against Fnatic, regardless of what they're playing. But in this particular situation as well, there's Febiven in the mid. We know Huni can be a beast with the teleports, a beast in mid-game fighting. And once it hits that point, the Wolves, they need to build themselves a buffer. And right now, they're down 500 gold.
Yeah, and usually that timer, that's Huni's teleport. If Fnatic goes even in the laning phase, one teleport from Huni opens up the map. In that sense, stylistically, I do like the Shen pick because you have two ways to catch up with him. Either teleport yourself or you stand united, which is slightly quicker even.
Oh, the interact Rek'Sai back. He's going to have to go ahead and flash away for it. He's still fine though. But a nice move, faking out by moving to the left and then heading right back into the last moment.
Yeah, he flashed away from that pulverize. I would have actually liked to see Kaas hold on to that pulv a little longer and then flash off the Rek'Sai. Maybe could end up in kill. He still has his summoner heal though.
Huni making a move down into this red buff with the help of YellowStar on the roam. Shook realizes a little too late that he was there. That's first blood. And wait a minute, go secure the red buff.
Look at the map right now. Reignover's at the bottom. He's helping his AD carry. Copenhagen Wolves completely forget that YellowStar based in normal games, normal movement patterns, support, bases at 6 minutes 50 seconds. He runs back to the bot lane. No, YellowStar, he bought Moby Boots immediately. He roamed in together with Huni on that level 6 spike, and now he goes into mid. Beautiful rotational play here.
Instantly on to Soren. He's going to dash his way away from the Chaos Storm and all the damage that Fnatic were putting out. Lenny spends his stand united. Nothing doing.
And this is what strategy is made of, in my opinion. Really good play by Fnatic. They're breaking the mold that is the early game. They're breaking the standard lanes by bringing up their support for a roam into the enemy jungle, then have the jungle defend their bottom lane AD carry. They get the kill because their top laner roams in, then they group up on the mid lane. You see all these, you know, pawns moving around on the chessboard, and Copenhagen Wolves are catching up. They have no idea what's going on. This is how you punish a team that's playing reactive, not proactive, because they're always one step behind. And honestly, fantastic early move by YellowStar, buying those Moby Boots and making them count.
I think you said it. When Fnatic plays a lot of teams, it's like a team playing chess versus checkers, but I think Copenhagen Wolves might be playing tic-tac-toe right now. However, they look to find Rek'Sai. Assault and Battery is onto him. They look to arrest his momentum, but the last deny. Huni's in the picture. 2v3, and they're still taking this fight. Summoner heal spent. Kaas is looking to go down, and he does.
Huni wants to stake. Well done. Burns up just Suis Kaas. Comes in with the teleport, and honestly, Copenhagen Wolves tunnel vision. Oh, and that's brutal. To watch Rek'Sai slowly walk towards that lantern. Yeah, that is honestly that makes you tilt. Hashtag just tilting, boys.
That definitely can. Fnatic at insult to injury, they grab themselves a dragon now. Just before 10 minutes into the game, the lead getting close to about 2,000. That dragon, of course, giving gold, but the buff will certainly help. Copenhagen Wolves, once again, come up empty-handed.
And Fnatic playing with a lot of respect on Shook. They know that this Vi, if left untreated, can become a big problem because he can punish Febiven in the lanes, can punish Huni. Came out in the bot lane. Look at the spacing between YellowStar. He's not gonna peel because he knows he can't get out. He goes to the left side so he doesn't get engaged by Shook. Goes to the lantern. Kaas is like knock back, knock up. Slowly walks out, just enough, and then Huni comes in. He realizes that Alistar's level 5 actually instead of 6. So he turns around. And yeah, Shook and Freeze have to run, and they use so many offensive summoners on that too.
So much blown, and they just couldn't secure it up. Fnatic, though, just playing on another level. So now we've got Rek'Sai and YellowStar swapped up to the top, trying to deny Lenny. He has been in the CS lead, but that doesn't really mean much when he's got 2 kills, mostly because he's just been roaming. And
most importantly, Huni found a window where he could teleport down to the bottom lane, as he's roasting Freeze right here, where both teleports from Lenny were down. Summer spell teleport was down, his 10 United was down, and Huni still somehow had his own teleport available to go bottom. This means good cooldown management by Fnatic, because imagine if Lenny came down, they could have punished Huni for that. They could have maybe even killed 2 people, but they knew there was no potential counter teleport. Huni came down, finished up that play. Another tower goes in Fnatic's favor. They're not afraid of mixing and matching these lanes, right? Because Kalista can still beat Sivir in this lane very easily. They say, no, Huni, you defend that. We get a free tower on the top lane. We'll rotate mid later. They want to speed up this early game.
You know, we did mention that Fnatic can't afford to play fairly different if they want to try experimenting. I feel like their comp isn't all that different. It's just sort of something that they've not always been able to get their hands on. And their playstyle really hasn't been different either. But apart from that 12 wins in a row, remember, Fnatic here, if they do manage to win this, they will have definitely guaranteed, the producers just told me, they'll definitely get themselves into the playoffs, at least 6th place, and that's so early out, but to guarantee that at this stage of the season, that's like the coolest buffer that you can even think of.
Honestly, in terms of entertainment value, I would like to see Fnatic drop 1 match, because then that, long streak is broken. They can't go 18-0 anymore, and if you can't go 18-0, then it doesn't matter if you go 17-1 or 16-2 or 15-3, because you'll still finish first. And that might prompt more experimentation from Fnatic. But as long as that 18-0 is still on the board, we might see a little tempered experimentation, 1 pick at a time, not too many variables.
Just maybe. Copenhagen Wolves trying to set up a trap here as YellowStar and Rek'Sai are back in the bottom side. Tower pretty low. Could go for a dive if they get back to safety. Rek'Sai is there. Is he going to get closer? The trap is waiting. In comes the cow. In comes everyone else. Rek'Sai, assault and battery. They will finally take him down. Heavy investment to do it.
But even then, there's no objective tied to the kill just yet. Gonna commit for this tower. All right, good move by the Wolves. I think this is a good opening. Hiding in plain sight.
That's for
Let's
sure.
see if Fnatic can counter dive in the mid lane here.
Oh, Shuriva shuffle. Febiven knocked in to tower range, but because he didn't attack Soren, he didn't get tower aggro. Chaos Storm on. Reignover around the back, gets the Queen's Unburrow rather, and the Queen's Wrath on. Gets the kill. Nicely done. Hook on to Kaas. Febiven. He can roast the cow as well.
Yeah, YellowStar to slice off a bit of cheese right there with the hook. Azir ulti is still available, so too many threats. But yeah, this is Fnatic, right? You strike at one side, they'll strike you at the other. You kill the AD carry. Reignover says, okay, I will cross map you somewhere else. Take down your mid laner. Take down your middle tower. Thank you very much for that opportunity. Should calculate a team in Fnatic.
They are just this team that is so incredibly thoughtful about every move they make on the map. And you even hear it in their interviews, in their post games. They're always saying things like, yeah, we won, but we made this mistake here, we made this mistake here, we sat down, we thought about it. That's the kind of thing that most teams only do when they lose.
I mean, yeah, that's
1 step ahead.
It's a team looking to go to Worlds, right?
looking to compete at Worlds.
They're looking to deliver at Worlds. Fnatic as an organization have been top of the leagues multiple times across the seasons. Different lineup right now. The only rock still left is YellowStar, but if you want to keep one player on your team, it's probably him. Fantastic captain, both in and out of game. I still remember a quote where he talks about, you know, I can't go out in the weekends. I don't want to go because I want the younger players to look up to me. I don't want them to ever think this guy doesn't practice enough. He doesn't put in his full merit. Sacrificing many hours of his life just for this game, just for this team. Earns the respect of, I think, everybody in the league.
Absolutely. I can't think of a single person who has anything negative to say about YellowStar. In-game or out, for sure. Proving it time and time again. Let's see what they do on this bottom side. The members are not going to go deep into dangerous territory. Instead, they will take the safe route. Let's pull it back to where we are, though, really quick. 15 minutes on the clock. Still building that lead. 2 towers to 1. 3-1 kills. 24K to 20. Keeping it going. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, it is pretty warm here in Berlin. Ideal barbecue weather, and Huni agrees. Look at that damage. Needlessly large rod. Both the penetration items finished. He can just turn on that flame spitter and grill everybody in the Copenhagen Wolves lineup.
He's even melting right through Lenny's Spirit Visage. At this point, it's getting dangerous. Freeze has to pop on the hunt defensively. Teleport coming in. Equalizer thrown down. Freeze is walking right through it. Huni says, let's just take the fight. Kaas knocks him away, but Reignover and YellowStar are still here. He's going to have to burn Flash.
Yeah, Lenny canceled his TP, thinking his team was safe. Febiven looking to chase Soren now. Huni goes for the Dragon.
4 members of Fnatic able to easily take this one out. Lots of ward coverage in this jungle, something we haven't talked about as much this game. Fnatic not only do they calculate every move, but they have the vision to back it up. Another Dragon secured.
Yeah, and the Copenhagen Wolves, they have to use their offensive tool defensively. They use the honor hunt to get away out of the engage. They use the teleport, then cancel it. They get put on the back foot constantly. They haven't crossed the river at all. That wave in the top lane hasn't been pushed in quick enough either. Look at Huni. He's gonna walk up, pick up some more farm, get some more gold, get some more items, and good snowball here from Fnatic.
Keep the ball rolling is the plan for Fnatic. And they are perfectly happy to just let the Wolves try to react to them in every situation because they can't get anything for it.
And honestly, the difference between Fnatic right now and the Fnatic of Spring Split, they were decisive and they got ahead, but they took sometimes these fights that you really didn't want them to take. They ended up losing, overreaching, get their hands stuck in the cookie jar, and we've yet to see that in this split so far. Maybe a couple of times, maybe some mistakes, but they seem to learn from all of their mistakes, and they are very few.
Even in the games they have been the closest to losing, I would argue the Giants game yesterday was probably one of those among them. They
should have lost that.
They still found a way to get back time and time again, take advantage of even the smallest mistakes of the less disciplined teams. And this is what sets them apart. This is why they're 11 wins in a row and counting.
And they do it by having multiple people step up. This game, it is not a single player, it's just Fnatic as a whole, but sometimes you see Huni just carry the game. Yesterday it was Rek'Sai.
Sometimes it's Febiven.
Sometimes it's Febiven, very often overlooked. There's too many things to look at, really. And when people talk about MVPs, everybody's like, why does Bora or why does YellowStar get so little recognition? Because he's playing with these star players and he's just supplementing them so well. One of those star players is caught, though.
Maybe a rare mistake from him as they triple team him. Equalizer thrown down. He is going to go down, but not before melting through so much of the health bars of the rest of Copenhagen Wolves. And with that investment, immediately Fnatic react on the bottom side. They will be able to secure a turret.
Yeah, not sure what Huni was doing, taking the scenic route to the Copenhagen Wolves' jungle alone when there's 3 people on the bottom side of the map. Everyone in the middle. Sloppy. Not used to that from Huni.
Yeah, but even so, Fnatic take advantage of the moment. They are able to force everyone away from the bottom side, still grab a tower. Trading Huni for a tower is definitely worth in this situation. And they're always calculating. They never just get caught.
They always counter trade. I'd still call it getting caught, but you can at least rely on your teammates to get something out of it on the other side of the map, because that was still the Copenhagen Wolves expending 4 resources to get Huni there, distracting them. That Rumble booty in the jungle.
All right. Let's take a look at this. 19 minutes in. They still grow the lead very slowly. Again, it hasn't been like Fnatic hugely pressuring everywhere. They've just been slowly moving into the jungle, being able to get a little bit of pressure, edging Copenhagen Wolves, trying to nudge them out from defending their own base. The Azir turret is up to try and keep them back at the moment. But Copenhagen Wolves aren't making a concerted play here. They're just trying to get picks. They're not looking as forward to objectives, and this is why we only see them sitting on one tower at 20 minutes in.
I mean, Fnatic close, very controlled, and with a lot of respect. You don't see too many people face-checking for vision. Usually when YellowStar moves in, it's always together with Reignover. They have a plan in mind, they take it slowly. They deny you farm here and there, some experience here and there. It's obviously very hard to close against an Azir who can, you know, make these makeshift turrets everywhere he wants, and then you have the Sivir wave clear at the other side. And Unbreakable is obviously very strong. Reignover zones out Soren right here, so now they can chip away at this tower.
Definitely starting to get it pretty low here. About 50% of its health. They back off as Kaas, Shook, Soren, and Freeze are all in the area. Wolves are bunched up, and Fnatic will back away. Dragon comes up in or Baron rather comes up in another couple of seconds, but it'll still be a little bit of time before I think Fnatic will set their sights on that. They usually do it when they know the enemy's not looking.
Yeah, they're so good at finding these early Barons that are relatively uncontested. When we see other teams go for these risky early Barons, you're never sure how it's going to play out. Fnatic always have a good idea of how much time they have to do the Baron and how much time they need to finish it. Very controlled, especially with the Kalista. Very potent pick when it comes to securing objectives. However, as we saw in the SK game, not all the time.
Not if the Gragas knocks you away. That's not going to be the case with Shook's Vi. However, Fnatic, the base, picking up some items, able to get themselves right back into it. And you just look at how well they've been able to control the vision. Again, I want to touch on this because there's so many Rek'Sai tunnels down in this bottom side they're focusing on. There's so much vision in this top side. The Wolves have no idea that there is a forest of wards in their own jungle.
I mean, they likely know there's just not much they can do about it. This is the only thing that worries me for Fnatic as a team, because they're so dominant and they might get used to rolling over teams like this, because there's no pushback from Wolves. They're just letting it happen, slowly losing the game, no proactive plays, occasionally the very obvious, you know, pick in the jungle where you're camping 4-man on the brush, but there's no minion wave manipulation tied to that, no objectives tied to that, so you will never straight up win the game off that for the Wolves. So when they get used to teams doing this over and over and over, and when they hit later the playoff stages and Worlds eventually, they might not be used enough, you know, to getting pushed back by your opponents, getting challenged.
Yeah.
But I'm sure the coaching staff is aware of that, and they'll scrim tremendously hard in the preparation for Worlds, which is relatively early to talk about.
We're getting a little bit ahead of ourselves, but back in this one though, I do want to talk on the other side of the spectrum because we really have focused a lot on Fnatic. For the Copenhagen Wolves, no, this is definitely not an easy task for them, and they're slowly getting edged out, not making proactive plays. However, I feel that with these new couple of members in such a sink or swim, do or die matchup as they go in onto Febiven, will they be able to take him down? They pinball him over. The Emperor's Divide may not have even been needed there as Lenny comes in after the fact. They can get a tower.
This is what they have to do. They have to group up, pop the Sivir ulti. The only thing Fnatic can't deal with is Chook's ultimate on Vi. There is no way to stop that from happening because he will chase you and lock you down. The only person that can dodge Vi ultimate is YellowStar and Thresh. If he gets Fate called out, he becomes untargetable.
Dangerous Dragon.
Looking for a Dragon.
Rek'Sai will be able to take it down thanks to the Ren proc. Before the Wolves can show up, he snags it away. 3-2-0 on the Dragon score, even though they lost Febiven to do it.
The Copenhagen Wolves use so much on every single pick-off. They use the Vi ulti, Shen coming in, you know, on the hunt, and then there's two little reserves left in the bank, but they have to do it because they don't want to let Febiven escape, just like Rek'Sai escaped earlier in the bot lane. So it's a bit of a catch-22 for them.
Yeah, it's difficult, and this is the thing. And it goes back to what I wanted to say before Febiven got picked up there. Copenhagen Wolves definitely have a ways to go. They're not in a happy position in the LCS right now, being at the bottom of the table, but there's still a chance to avoid that automatic relegation. Fight it out for the promotion tournament, which they have historically been quite good at. Still very early on, but they've got to make every game count. And from this game, even though you're not expected to win, there's always a lot you can learn from watching a team like Fnatic and playing against a team like Fnatic, and it's all on the Wolves to be able to make the most of that.
Yeah, if anything, this is stage experience for the two new guys on the block. The Belgian kids, Suis Kaas and Lenny, just want to get accustomed to how it feels to play on stage. How is that desk height different from the way you play at home? You know, how cold is it in studio? Do I need to wear an extra jacket, something under my shirt? All these things that play in your mind. How do I deal with white noise in my headset? These are all so many variables you have such a hard time training on. So while this game is a big loss, it is expected to be so. So the Wolves are looking ahead. They're looking at next week. They want to challenge teams like SK Gaming that keep dropping the ball in the mid to late game and hopefully find their way up there, because they're in this position where MYM and Giants were last split, playing for auto relegation. Not good for team atmosphere, not good for pressure in the house.
It's definitely true. So we'll see if they are able to get themselves up some experience and time. And next week they'll, they will be facing down SK. They will be facing down the Copenhagen Wolves, or excuse me, Unicorns of Love. And if they can get their heads in the right places, if they can get into a good mindset as well as learn a lot from these games that they're facing off against these tough opponents, they may have a chance to challenge. We'll have to see if that's the case as we progress forward. But back into this game, again, it's just coming up on 25 minutes. The lead has been very gradually extending now. Kaas is caught on a line. They've hooked the cheese. It's not going down just yet, but Freeze is going so low. The Chaos Storm now on Kaas. It goes right through him. Reignover gets knocked away, but Rek'Sai will stick the spears in and pull him right back out as Soren dashes away. That could have been worse, however, for the Wolves.
You know you're in trouble when an enemy team is focusing an Alistar with Unbreakable Will up and kills him. That means you have no counter damage, no counter pressure. Look at Fnatic. Not coming in for the Baron. Say, Wolves, we'll fool you once. Let's see if we can fool you twice.
It's even named after them. This is the Fnatic rush, Lenny. You can't fall for that. He's going to be able to almost get away, but Reignover with the flank makes sure that doesn't happen.
Honestly, it's not even falling for him. Febiven!
Oh!
Little greedy.
Oh, just a bit. Fnatic tried a little too many things at once. This time they can't take the Baron.
Copenhagen will simply have to face it. They can't afford the risk of Fnatic doing the Baron. They have to respect that. Enter the darkness. However, Febiven with a slight mistake here, leaves off in the middle and exposed. Gives the Wolves some breathing room, and Shook, honestly, is the one shining light for the Copenhagen Wolves. 100% kill participation, taking none of those kills for himself. Exactly the way a jungle should be playing. Now in this metagame on the Vi. Honestly, I like it against Fnatic. It's targeted CC, suppression kind of, because you can't get rid of it.
Reignover looks for Kaas again. They just want to keep fighting around this Baron. Establish a dominance. Fate's Call throws YellowStar in.
Yeah, wants to
That's
play
two
yo-yo.
ultimates down there just to try and get a pick off on the cow. They can't get it.
Yeah, they just want to clear the Baron vision. Once they find this ward right here, everything goes dark. And the Baron pit is dark and full of tears. Poorly placed ward there. You really want to place that around the edge. Copenhagen Wolves. And now they have the Ren execute. Shook's here. Decent at smite steals, but so hard to do it. And Fnatic, they can take it slow. They don't have to rush this Baron down at the end.
No, they can go ahead and peel for the fight. They found Kaas, but Lenny and Shook, they're all coming in. It's a party in the Baron pit now. And who is going home with the prize? It's gonna be Reignover. Copenhagen Wolves to their best efforts to save the day, but it doesn't matter in the end. Double kill for the Viktor. Soren, Emperor's divides the rest of them away, but he's still burning low and forced to summoner heal, flashing into the Krugs. They've got full vision of him, and it looks like it's only gonna be a matter of time. YellowStar's here, the hook, not quite connecting. Soren got nowhere to go. That's the ace, that's the Baron, that's Fnatic ringing the bells to try and finish this game off.
YellowStar is cheating right there. He misses the hook, goes for the flame, says, okay, well, never mind, I'm just gonna ignite this guy and walk away. But yeah, good Baron from Fnatic, and they do what SK Gaming couldn't do. They synchronize their smite with their Ren. They set a number, likely in their voice comms. They say, okay, when this Baron hits 2.3k, we're both gonna press it, regardless who goes first or last. That exact frame, because you know the number they have in their head. There's all impossible for Shook to get a smite in between.
Copenhagen Wolves did what they had to do to jump in and stop that Baron, but you're right, Fnatic so much more coordinated, completely outplay them, outmaneuver them. Big wave pushing bot, inhibitor taken down mid, Huni pushing down on the bottom side. The Wolves are in a world of hurt.
And the Copenhagen Wolves, they're about to go 2-10 in the European LCS. However, they're only one win away from SK Gaming. That's all they need. 2 wins away from Elements. Let's watch this again. Shook goes in a little early. Falbecker couldn't stop that. He uses ulti on Reignover. They want to kill him. But I would argue you're better off killing Rek'Sai. Get rid of the Ren stacks and then go smite for smite, because obviously the Ren execute does way more. And synchronized damage output. A little miscommunication, misfocus there, but even if they got the Baron, they would have gotten roasted. So much damage on the side of Fnatic rather.
YellowStar goes in a little solo actually on this dragon, but he's okay to do it just now.
Nah, he had the lantern in the red buff pit. Tried to go for the max distance range lantern, but Rek'Sai was too busy clearing that camp. He said, nope, not today. I'll ride the Thresh Express another time.
Yep. And Huni too. Definitely doing some serious work. You mentioned roasting and barbecues and all those good things. It's a good thing there's a holiday where I'm from, Krepo, that's going to be all about tomorrow, but Huni's ringing it in quite nicely. And it's already on. However, it looks like Lenny, or rather Reignover, is going down. However, the rest of Fnatic is already here. Lenny is going to have to shadow dash over the wall, but face call not even needed as Febiven lasers him down. Huni still toasting these minions on the bottom side. Waves still pouring in the mid, and soon to be the bottom. Copenhagen Wolves are running out of options.
Reignover trades himself for the top laner, Lenny. 4v4 right now. See how much damage they're doing on the turret. Yeah, this is not gonna survive too long, Pyra.
It's already down. Inhibitor now being taken out. Copenhagen Wolves trying to respond with a little bit of non-committal poke, but they're just rolling over here. Fnatic sitting pretty, 4 dragons. That Baron buff out, of course, but doing just so much work against these Wolves.
And honestly, that's what was expected from this game. Fnatic in true Fnatic fashion. Slow early game, one could argue. Fantastic teleports coming out.
I would say they definitely did do as you were saying and kind of temper it a little bit. If they really wanted to experiment and just do some crazy stuff and see for the hell of it if it worked out, they could have gotten away with it in a number of situations. Nonetheless, they play it smart, they keep going, and on par to be the first team here in Europe to guarantee themselves a playoff berth.
Yep, but at the same time, how value is experimentation against a 10th place team in the league? I mean, what conclusive data can you draw from it? I feel Fnatic as a team, they're so far ahead in terms of shot calling and communication that it doesn't matter what they play. They can vary it up all the way, and they would likely still win the game. Playing this game with a lot of respect, very meta picks.
When they can get their hands on him too. I mean, again, this is not a comp they've been fully able to run for a little while.
The only thing that I feel could be a weakness in his composition is that Viktor is incredibly immobile. Or I can't use that word because Kobe gets mad at me. Low mobility, mid lane champion. He has the lantern to get out, and that is the only weakness of this composition right here. So much damage on Fnatic's side.
They have been really just taking everything away from these Wolves. Huni in the mid, they've got the 4-1 on. Wolves have got to react, but there's no inhib mid, there's no inhibitor bot. The last one has its, or rather Fnatic has their sights set on it, and it seems like it's just going to be a matter of time before that too will fall. The Wolves can make a miracle play. They've managed to find a couple of picks, but not without huge cost to them. Now would be the time to try and keep it alive. And Kaas is already down. Febiven lasers him. Shook trying to find Febiven, but Rek'Sai has taken down Soren. Just like that, the damage has gone a double kill as Shook will now fall. Lenny gets rended away, and YellowStar picks up the kill. Huni just going for the end right now. He knew that was all about to happen. Might want to stat pad just a little bit. But there we go. Last inhibitor turret is falling down, and I don't think anyone expected anything different. But 32 minutes into the game, after the ace, Fnatic take down the Copenhagen Wolves and qualify for playoffs.
And YellowStar, another game, 0 deaths. This guy doesn't die very often.
No, he doesn't.
Fantastic KDA reflects that score as well. I believe it was last week where he went like 2-1 and 28, or 26. He had a 28 KDA last week. Just a phenomenal performance as a support, and yeah, expected, but consistency and deliverancy is what Fnatic brings to the table.
Yeah,
and
12 games in a row.
They got taken to the ropes yesterday by against Giants, but they showed what they do under pressure. A lot cleaner, a lot crisper win. And they're getting used to this walk. So far, no team has had to walk to Fnatic's side of the stage. They're always the one walking first.
Yes, indeed. They will shake hands once again for the 12th time this split, and with the fans. Such an awesome fan base Fnatic has as well. Always massive respect. The organization, even though they changed a lot of faces last year, they've gotten some more experience under their belts. And the team that surprised everybody by coming out ahead into the first have looked even stronger against every team now, and then some in this summer split.
Fnatic 12-0, the Wolves 2-10. Biggest difference in the league right now in terms of wins and losses. Fast difference showed on the Rift, honestly, too. There was almost nothing the Wolves could do. They tried. This guy right here on your screen, Shook, he tried.
Shining light.
Yeah.
But there's still a lot of work to do for the Copenhagen Wolves, and we'll have to see, you know, how they develop, if they can make a challenge for keeping themselves out of that auto relegation. They definitely have a knack for it.
Yeah, all 5 kills that Fnatic gave up were at the hands of Shook. He was somehow involved in them. So